We're going to take you inside the fight against ISIS, not on the battlefield, but inside the hearts and minds of young people in one of the world's most developed countries. France has been terrorized by ISIS, and now everybody from senators to soldiers, even moms, is trying to keep the terrorists at bay. ABC's chief global affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz is there.
We're on our way to see a single mother who had a son she feared would be claimed by ISIS. This is a scarily common story here in France, where the government says there are more than 8,000 Muslims who have shown some sign of radicalization, like this woman's 18-year-old son. When your son told you he was going to Syria, what did you say?
I was shocked. J'étais choquée.
When he came up to me and said that, I was like, wow, there's something I missed.
After 2 years of jihadists terrorizing France, with nearly 230 reported murdered by ISIS radicals, officials are desperately trying to connect the dots, stopping attacks here and abroad, sometimes hunting attackers home by home in neighborhoods like this one. This is St. Denis, just outside Paris, but it might as well be another world. This is an area where there are many, many immigrants. This past week, 7 individuals in France were arrested, accused of being in terrorist networks. 3 of them allegedly had advanced plans. The mother you saw, who asked that her face be kept in shadow, we'll call Fatima. Why do you think all these young men and young women are going to Daesh?
They are kind of the perfect target. They believe things easily.
We were not ready to fight this new threat. Absolutely not.
French Senator Nathalie Goulet is blunt in saying the country must basically start the fight against ISIS, or Daesh as it's called, from scratch.
It's like being on Titanic with a little spoon. You know, every day you have to prevent the water to come on this side. So right now, the jihadists are running faster than the lawmakers. But it starts to be much better. The tools are almost ready.
The most important tool, intelligence sharing. Prior to the Paris attacks in November, French authorities had this man, Fabien Claun, under surveillance. Despite that, Claun was able to help plan the attacks, a major failure of intelligence, according to Senator Goulet. She took us to the home where Claun lived and became radicalized.
It's a decent place with a nice environment, and that doesn't prevent the people to get radicalized in France.
Leading the search for answers is Samia Maktouf, a lawyer who represents the families of the victims of the terror in France.
They don't want to see another mother crying because the son is not here anymore.
With her hand-drawn chart showing the connections between terror attacks in multiple countries, she brings to mind the same dogged determination of Homeland's obsessive CIA agent, Carrie Matheson.
It's here. We have to figure out what happened right here.
They were well known by the police and the intelligence, but they were freely acting. There is a lack of sharing information.
Stovepipe.
Yes. That's the problem.
And that's why now the French government has taken unprecedented steps to improve its intelligence efforts. A state of emergency declared after the November attacks has been extended to last more than a year. The French military has been called up too, as U.S. and coalition airstrikes have been winning the conventional war against ISIS in the Middle East, this week killing ISIS #2, Abu Muhammad al-Adnani. ISIS fighters are now moving beyond the borders to carry out attacks in the West. They've put up security on both sides of the Eiffel Tower since the shooting here last November, and they have about 10,000 French soldiers patrolling. And what do you look out for?
We're looking for all clues which could be strange, not normal, like a luggage left somewhere.
Those clues could be vital to stopping another major attack, like the one on the Bataclan Concert Hall in November.
And I thought it was firecrackers.
Alexis Lebrun survived that attack. He knows firsthand the price that is paid when intelligence fails.
I was really upset that the Bataclan and other concert venues were not protected because they were known targets. So it's really hard to cope with that and to move forward.
Alexis has found some solace working for a victims organization, Life for Paris. There, he and other young survivors work to come to terms with the new normal.
The fact that these people are extremely young is also extremely, I think, shocking for my generation because they have the same age as us.
Fatima's teenage son, we're calling him Omar, says he was radicalized by propaganda videos he saw on social media.
What did you think when you saw those images?
It made me want to go there. It's interesting.
Did you know what ISIS and what Daesh had done to people and murdered reporters, murdered other people?
No. I didn't know that. I saw it more as an organization trying to help people there. They were showing people giving food to young boys and young starving children. They were protecting people from the Assad government.
Fatima is very close to her son and of course knew the truth about ISIS, but she feared that if she told him not to join them, it would guarantee he would. Instead, she tracked him carefully until he found out about those groups on his own. Seeing the devastation of the Charlie Hebdo attack forever changed his perception.
He said, "Look at the terrorist attack. Look at the terrorist attack." I smiled and said, he's finally going to realize those are not Muslims.
You should not listen to these people, this propaganda. Syria is not real life. What's there is not real life.
And as a Muslim, do you think they are part of Islam?
Still, with officials fearing thousands are on the road to being radicalized in France, the pressure on intelligence and law enforcement only increases, and the hunt for ISIS becomes even more difficult. For Nightline, I'm Martha Raddatz in Paris.
And we want to thank Martha for that report.